going to bring us on to the blue card. So going back to commons, going back to the cheap stuff, Octopus Form is our first card. Single blue mana for an instant lesson. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap it. So it's just it's an upgraded shore up, right? And shore up's been a pretty good protection spell in every set we've seen it. Upgraded just because it's a lesson, that's all.
And there are quite a few cards in blue. Like blue is one of the colors that cares quite a lot about the type being lesson. So I think this is going to be played quite a bit. I think you're going to be happy with this in a lot of blue decks. We both gave it a C.
Yeah, one thing that I kind of thought when I was looking at the blue cards is it's very blue. Like there's a lot of instant speed stuff, a lot of card draw, a lot of tricksy things. Sometimes blue and limited doesn't feel like the classic blue playing, but I think there's a lot of that going on in this set. Next up, we've got Watery Grasp. This is a single blue mana for an aura. Enchant creature. The enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Doesn't tap it, but that creature won't untap. And it has the Waterbend ability, 5. Enchanted creature's owner shuffles it into their library. Okay, so kind of like the white one we saw when we looked at the white cards. It's a cheap removal spell that has a lot of downsides and that it can be blinked, it can be blown out, destroyed, but there's a way to get rid of the creature for good.
Yeah, I went on a real journey with this card. Like I think I started it off at like a D or a D plus just because it doesn't tap the creature.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it initially, the higher I went on it. Because if you're playing blue and you have, like, we'll see there's a lot of card advantage in blue. There's a lot of late game ways to kind of take over. All you really want your cheap commons to do is to help you survive until the late game.
Right.
And so if this is just like, okay, they attacked me on turn 2 with their 2-drop, I have a 1-mana answer for it. It's tapped. It's locked down now. They can't do anything with it anymore. And then that Waterbend 5 is a really nice buyout. And this is like, it's not that far off of 6-mana instant, like shuffle a creature into the library, which is not terrible. Waterbending gets reduced significantly in the clues you have in play, the artifacts, the creatures, whatever. The only thing, so I actually moved it all the way up to C+. I moved it down again because there are multiple things that actually untap effects in this set as well.
Yeah, I believe in green, white, and blue, the one we just saw, all 3 have tricks that untap a creature. Worth noting, though, that's a downside for sure, and they can catch you with your pants down, but there is some back and forth there where it's like they can't cast it if you've got 5 creatures, artifacts, or lands untapped, right? So, yeah, there's something to be said about that.
For sure. Yeah, I'm still pretty interested in this. I gave Watery Grasp a C. You were a little lower at a C-.
Okay, here's one I think we're both very excited for. This one's a banger. Forecasting Fortune Teller. This is 1 and a blue for a 1/3 ally. When it enters, you make a clue token. Yeah. So
I am forecasting playing a lot of this.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think this card really shows the power of Thraven Inspector or Novice Inspector, because you're really just paying an additional mana for 1 point of toughness, and we still really like the card, right? So yeah, like so good in the waterbending deck, so good just in general, just like a 1/3 that replaces itself with 2 mana, gives you 2 permanents, like so many good things about this card.
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, the defining comment of the entire set.
Wow.
Like, you need to have a plan for this. Like, as an aggro deck, the fact that this is a 1/3 is going to be super annoying. We both gave Fortune Teller a B.
Yep, really, really nice one. Next up is Otter-Penguin. So this is 1 and a blue for a 2/1. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, which is blue-black's theme, by the way, this creature gets +1/+2 until end of turn and can't be blocked. Yeah, whatever. Very filler 2-drop.
Yeah, like if you see this as an aggressive card because the unblockable, like the aggressive deck's not the one that wants to be spending mana to draw a second card a lot of the time. We both gave Otter-Penguin a D.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't even very easily trigger it on blocks too, because drawing your second card is always a little bit tricky. It'll quench ya. I get this reference. This is 1 and a blue for an instant lesson. and it says counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. So it's a Quench.
I've disliked Quenches a lot. Like they always do reasonably well in the stats. I always kind of preach on about how, at the top tables of play, like people play around these a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I am a full believer in this card for this set.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about how there's going to be a lot of ways to leave up your mana in this set. I think that's a big part of it. Anything else that really entices you? I mean, lesson is a big deal. Blue lesson is a big deal, but
yeah, I mean those are the big two.
Yeah.
But like lesson Blue cares a lot about lessons and the fact that I think it's going to be so free to hold up the mana a lot of the time. We both gave Quench or It'll Quench Ya a C+.
Yep. First time flyer up next. 1 in a blue for a 1/2 ally with flying. And this creature gets +1/+1 as long as there is a lesson in your graveyard. Okay, so 2 mana, 2/3 flyer. Like if it was always that, we'd be fairly happy about it. Not always that, can't block on 2. Yeah, I mean I'm sure there's like some ways, but if you cast your untap blue trick before it's actually relevant, but generally it's a 1/2 on blocks. Mostly an aggressive card, probably for the blue-white flyer deck, I would say.
Oh, I was about to nod along until you said blue-white. I think this is a blue-red card.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. Yeah, that's blue-red. So we should probably just quickly note, blue-white is a flying deck, and blue-red is like a less than aggro deck, which, yeah, I agree. That it is much more fitting for that deck.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this in blue-red and maybe blue-white as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. You got to pick your spots for this. We both gave her a C-.
Yeah, very fitting. Rowdy Snowballer is up next. This is 2 in a blue for a 2/2 ally. When it enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So this is Frostlinks, which is not a very powerful card. Has the ally type. Whatever.
Yeah, like tapping stuff early doesn't really matter as much. You'd rather have a bigger body and play your tapper later in the game to kind of push damage.
Yep.
So like the smaller and less expensive these are, the less I like them. I'd rather have, the 5 mana 4/4 type of template.
Right.
We both gave this a D+.
Next up is Iguana Parrot. This is 2 in a blue for a 2/2 flying vigilance prowess. This is an interesting one. It's one that I've seen in my Discord, kind of people arguing back and forth whether this is going to be solid, maybe even a bit better than solid, maybe it's trash. What's your take on this one?
I'm in the solid camp.
Yeah.
Again, blue-red and blue-white, I think both going to be fairly interested in this. I gave it a C-. You gave it a D+.
Yeah, it's not too hard to imagine being able to threaten like 2 prowess triggers on blocks with this potentially too, as you're leaving it mana, and I think that gets to the point where it's going to eat a lot of the creatures around its sizing. So yeah, one that I'm interested to see how it plays out. Next up is Waterbending Lesson. This is 3 in a blue for a lesson, of course. It's a sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card unless you waterbend 2.
I don't think you want multiples of these, but the first one I'm fairly interested in.
I think so too. Yeah, like one copy of a draw 3 to kind of refill after you've played the rest of your hand. I think blue's pretty good. We were talking about a lot of ways to play at instant speed, but I also think blue's pretty good at dumping its hand. A lot of pretty decent cheap cards. You don't really want this card in your hand if you're just like always holding cards and never want to tap out. But yeah, the fact that you can waterbend a clue or 2 to make this like a 4-mana draw 3, it's a card I'm interested in sometimes.
I also don't think you really care about whether you can waterbend it or not.
Sure, yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Like if it's mostly free, you do it, or if it sometimes it'll be completely free and you do it. But like drawing 3, discarding a card is often going to be, fine as well. We both gave this a C.
Yeah, chat says unplayable. There's draw 2 payoffs. There's no draw 3 payoffs. Next up is Flexible Waterbender. This is 3 in a blue for a 2/5 vigilance ally and has waterbend 3. This creature has base power and toughness 5/2 until end of turn. So I posted this card a week ago and was like, man, they keep printing this like 4 mana 2/5 common, never good, always last pick. You were slightly higher on it than I was though. Do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, it's still got the 4 mana, no ETB, no protection downside, but like often those commons fall into the camp that I'm unhappy with them, and I don't think I'm going to be unhappy with this.
Okay. I'll
So,
I'll hold you to it because I'm not a believer just yet.
well, okay, so I mean, on blocks,
Uh-huh.
like what size creature are you worried about them attacking with?
Yeah, I agree. It'll generally trade with things, maybe even eat things if you want to waterbend back and forth.
Well, there's no back and forth. It's
Oh, sure. Yes. I understand.
Yeah, it's not flip. It just becomes a
It just
5/2.
becomes
But
yeah.
like
True.
there's
Okay.
small things can't attack into this,
Mm-hmm.
and you just trade with a big thing. And then the fact that you also get to threaten that on attacks too with vigilance, like there's not really a lot of profitable attacks or profitable blocks into this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. I just think it's still fairly low power for 4 mana. That's kind of it. So
Well,
yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about. I still gave it a D plus.
yeah,
Like it's
I get it. I know. I agree. Okay.
yeah. You are on the D grade though, so I'm a
Yeah.
little bit higher.
I do want to call out one thing with the last card we talked about. Actually, chat brings up the waterbending lesson. You don't have to decide if you're gonna waterbend until you see the cards you draw. So you draw three, and then it's like, oh, do I want to waterbend? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you draw three lands, and you're like, okay, I can just discard a card, whatever. So that's actually a nice little note. Anyways, let's go to the next card, Lost Days. This is 4 and a blue for an instant lesson. The owner of target creature or enchantment puts it on into their library either second from the top or on the bottom, and you make a clue token. Okay, so interesting. So this is 1 mana than we usually get these for, but second from the top is a lot different than top, and making a clue is a really big deal.
And like so earthbended lands deal with kill and exile, they do not deal with bounce.
Yes, right.
So if you bounce or in this case tuck or whatever their earthbended land, you are getting that, like you get the land, you get the creature, and they're almost certainly going to put the land on the bottom, but you've got that totally dealt with.
Yeah, I think I graded this a little bit higher than you did, if I remember. And, I think the first copy of this, really good. You definitely have to ding good commons or good cards in general for diminishing returns. Like, first copy of this is going to be great. I can see you playing 2 fairly happily. Once you get to 3, I don't know, it might be the case where you want multiple. Like, it is a 2-for-1, right? It is a 2-for-1 removal spell. But clunk factor matters. So, yeah, what do we grade this?
Yeah, I was on a C plus. You gave this a B minus, but I agree with you. Like the first copy, you really want.
Yep. We've got Geyser Leaper up next. This is 4 and a blue for a 4/3 flying ally. It has a waterbend for draw a card, then discard a card. So, this is everything I hate about a flyer, where it's expensive. It doesn't block at all very well when turn it comes down. It doesn't even attack for that much. I mean, 4 power, 5 mana, 4 power. That's not great. There's always the joke where it's like people rediscover flying's good and limited, but there's also the other side of the coin where it's like cheap flyers, efficient flyers, those are good. These kind of clunkers, while they can on games, generally aren't good on average.
Yep, we both gave it a D. Nothing else.
Next up is Giant Koi. This is 4 blue for a 5/7. This is the blue island cycler, so island cycling for 2, and you can waterbend 3 to make this creature not be able to be blocked this turn.
So it's been a few years since I've seen the show. I don't remember if this was in an episode, but it's weird that this is not a hybrid type creature.
That's true. Yeah, it's like our first actual normal real life creature. It's just gigantified.
It's just a fish.
Yeah, just a fish. So yeah,
Blue.
go ahead. Yeah,
I was gonna say blue is a little bit more interested in land cycling than white, so this is better than the white one, but I'm still not super excited about this.
Yeah, same here. I think all of them are going to be better than the white one, but still not exciting. Probably going to be your 23rd card. What do we give it?
Yeah, you gave this a D plus. I gave it a D.
Boomerang Basics up next. This is a single blue mana for a sorcery lesson. We're at the uncommons now. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. So sorcery speed bounce, miles worse than instant speed bounce. Like that's just, let's just put that out there. 1 mana bounce, a lot better than 2 mana bounce, if you're making some comparisons here or there. So that's something I like. Less than good. Being able to like pick up something, draw a card. That's kind of nice too. So some nice utility. I don't think you ever want to play more than one because these definitely have diminishing returns. But yeah, I do like this card.
What do you think the split is between targeting your own stuff and their stuff?
Good question. I think it probably depends on your deck. Like if you're like let's say a white-blue deck where most of your cards are white, you're going to be targeting your opponent's stuff, getting it for damage, right? But if you're like more of the lessony value kind of deck, maybe your stuff a little more often. Although maybe that's a more of an even split in that kind of deck because setting your opponent back, bouncing their 4 mana dummy for 1 mana, does buy you a lot of time.
Yeah, I wasn't sold. So you're actually 2 grades higher than me on this one.
Yeah.
I could see being wrong. I'm not highly confident in it. But I just couldn't see the case where I was that happy with this. So I gave it a D+. You gave it a C.
I'm laughing at Sirkovitz's comment in chat here. Boomerang, divided into 2 words, implies the existence of Zoomer Sokka. Think about that one for a second. All right. Next up, we've got Honest Work. This is single blue mana for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature an opponent controls. When this aura enters, tap enchanted creature and remove all counters from it. The enchanted creature loses all abilities, is a citizen with base power, toughness 1/1, and has the ability tap, add a colorless. And its name is Human Merchant. Wow, is this bad? Wow, is this card not good?
Nobody likes honest work. That's the moral here.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to work these days.
We both gave this an F. Like I don't know if you. I mean, we can spend a minute talking about why it's so bad if you want, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll just quickly rattle it off. Giving your opponent a thing they can block with still bad. This can attack still bad. Ramping your opponent terrible. That's the big knock against this one. This is not unable to scream. This is not anything remotely close. Gran-Gran. I love this card. This is a single blue mana for a 1/2 legend. It's an ally. When Gran-Gran becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card, and non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard. So yeah, like you play it on 1, gets your waterbending going. You can probably get an attack on turn 1, almost certainly if you're on the play. And then if you have waterbending going on, it's a looting engine. Makes mana for you eventually. It's a nice little card.
Yep, nothing more to add. I think this card's sneak. Like the best case, you just get in on turn 2, you get a free loot, smooth your hand. You gave this a B-. I gave it a C+.
Waterbending Scroll is 1 and a blue for an artifact. 6 tap, draw a card. But this ability costs 1 less to activate for each island you control. So this is the blue monocolored payoff. Really cool card.
I am scarred from my humbling misgrade of Aether Siphon when Sam Black was calling me out in chat, and then was absolutely right. I think this card is probably even better than, like, you do need a lot of islands, but the fact that this can be free is insane.
Yeah, we're with all of these cards, we talk about it this way, but we're assuming you got the deck that supports it. 12 islands at a minimum. I don't think you want to be paying like 3 mana to draw a card. Although if you're like, if the first time you do it, you have to pay 3, you found a spot, and then draws more islands, like it's acceptable. But you're really 12 islands, I think, at a minimum.
Well, the other nice thing is often these types of cards you're not activating until your hand's almost empty anyways.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So like it gets cheaper by the time you want to use it. So I really like this card. Like I'm interested in drafting mono blue, but again, if you can get to like 11, 12 islands, I'm still going to be pretty happy with this. I gave it a B-. You gave it a C+.
And you can tap into waterbending. Worth calling out there, right? Yeah, play it early, tap to waterbending. Oh, this one is a banger. I really like this one. Accumulate Wisdom is 1 and a blue for an instant lesson. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Put each of those cards into your hand instead if there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. That is very powerful. The potential to have a 2 mana draw 3 that in the early game is just a filtering spell that fills your graveyard for your cards that care about lessons. It's great.
Kind of a sneaky callback to accumulated knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Who says these universes beyond says don't cater to the longtime Magic players? Yeah, this is sweet. I really like this card.
Yeah, card's great. I did move it down a little bit. I did a couple of like mock drafts of the set just to kind of get a feel of what's going on. It's hard to get a lot of lessons because most of them don't impact like the board, right? Like in blue, especially, a lot of them are
Right.
drawing cards. They're kind of lengthening the game. You do still need a chunk of creatures in your deck. So if you consider that you need like 9, 10 lessons, and then the rest of your deck needs to be creatures, there's not a lot of space in there for other stuff to work. So I'm curious how much that draw 3 is actually gonna come up. Obviously, there's like some self mill to enable it, but I bumped this down to a B minus.
Oh.
Still a good grade. You are at a B for it.
Oh, hurts my heart. Yeah, yeah. And worth calling out, I want to clarify, I misspoke slightly. I said it fills your grave with lessons. I just meant like this is a cheap card you can cast, puts a lesson in the grave, not that the cards you look at go in the grave. Just to clear up some confusion there. Knowledge Seeker. 1 in a blue for a 2/1 Vigilance. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and when it dies, you make a clue token. Wow, really nothing to hate about this. Blue rarely gets premium uncommon 2-drops, but when it does, they're often very, very good, and I think this one is that.
This is a nightmare for your opponent because if they don't block it, it grows, and if they do block it, you get the value right away.
Yep.
This card's great. We both gave it a B. I love this card.
Yeah, really sweet. Crashing Wave is blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, Waterbend X. So this is, an additional cost, not actually in the mana cost. It was, what I was calling out earlier. Tap up to X target creatures, then distribute 3 stun counters among tap creatures your opponents control. So purely a tempo card for aggressive decks. These tap effects you don't really want in your controlling decks. They're just like, not at their best. Your opponent's creatures just eventually untap. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a bit of a strange one.
I think I am interested in this in an almost mono blue control deck if you've got like the scrolls.
Sure, that is true. It kind of horseshoes back around in control decks where if you've got a lot of card draw, you can give up a card just for pure tempo.
Yeah. Yeah, and between those two use cases, like I'm always a hater of these types of effects, but I can see myself playing this from time to time.
Something interesting worth noting is that even if you just pay the 2 mana and nothing else into it, you do get to put 3 stun counters on your opponent's creatures, right? So there are spots where it's like you're racing a little bit, you just go 2 mana, tap your 3 or don't know, they're already tapped and just put stun counters on. So worth noting that. Yeah, so what did we give?
For sure. Yeah, you gave this a D+. I was slightly higher at a C-.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that one. Benevolent River Spirit is blue for a 4/5 Flying Ward 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, but as an initial cost to cast the spell, Waterbend 5, and when it enters, you scry 2. So yeah, this has the things that we're looking for on an expensive creature. It has Ward. It's got an enter the battlefield effect, even though it's only scrying. That's good enough. Pretty big flying body. It blocks right away. I really like this card.
You are 2 grades lower than me on this.
Oh, maybe I graded it lower than I should have. What did you give it?
I gave it a B+. I think this card's amazing.
I gave it a B-. Yeah, I'll join you. I absolutely will join you there.
Yeah, like I mean, so the amount you're pretty fine playing this for is roughly 6 mana. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. And that's like not great, but you're also not like you're not embarrassed by that.
Yes. And then once you get to 5 mana, it becomes really good. 4 mana, it's like busted, right?
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Because then you're going to just like a 4/5. You're tapping your things and maybe your creatures, but the nice thing is that because this has Ward, you're not going to suffer like a massive tempo blowout, right? The real nightmare situation is like you tap all your creatures if you need to get this down to profitably block, and then your opponent probably has to spend the full turn to kill it if that's what happens.
And there's a lot of ways, like obviously these cards are often, you can pass them for cheap, but it's not going to happen until a super late game. But I legitimately think this is going to be cast on turn 4 a good amount of the time.
Yeah. This is also really nice with the hexproof trick in blue, right? Because you can very often cast this with a blue open mana. Yeah, making your opponent pay the ward and then going, nope, sorry, hexproof. That's great. Yeah, no, really sweet card. Next up
Yeah.
is Master Pakku, and this is 1 in a blue for a 1/3 ally, legendary creature, has prowess, and when Master Pakku becomes tapped, target player mills X cards, where X is the number of lesson cards in your graveyard.
Another card I'm 2 grades higher than you on, although the last one I guess was fake. But I see this like the lesson builds. There's either I kind of see like blue red as a sprinkling of lessons where you want to get 1 lesson in your graveyard, and then blue green most likely is the one where you need to get like lots of lessons.
Right.
And so if you view this as like a blue green card, if you're assuming you can get 8, 9, 10 lessons into your deck, the first time or two that you tap this, you can mill yourself. And then the next couple times you tap it, like this is a 1 card win condition potentially.
Yep. Yep. I completely agree. Like, even just like reading it out, like sometimes when we do these gradings, like, we're always grading separately. And when I read out the words, I was like, oh yeah, I'm too low on this. I totally agree with everything you just said. And yeah, it's great. I think everything you said checks out for me.
Even like the body on this isn't. If you just have an octopus form and you're threatening like blocking as a 3/5 for 1 mana,
Yeah,
on your 2 drop, like yeah, this seems really strong to me.
yeah. One thing I've seen this a few times in chat. This is just a quick aside. Waterbending, you can still pay with regular mana as well. Just so if anybody had that mixed up in their head, it's just you can help pay for costs with your creatures or artifacts. Yeah, great. Next up, the Blue Shrine, the Spirit Oasis. 2 in a blue for a legendary shrine. When it enters, you draw a card for each shrine you control, and then when another shrine enters, you draw a card.
I gave this another D, as I already said. You gave this a C- for a card you have to work to get your divination for.
Yeah. I just think, like, in the world where you're doing the shrine thing, like this is pretty important just to be able to find the rest of your shrines, keep your triggers going. So like I probably, if you're just drafting using the tier list, probably not the best way to do it. I kind of thought in the ideal world this is probably going to be like an important part of that deck. That's all.
Sure, and it is the only one that costs 3, so yeah.
Next up is Invasion Submersible. 2 in a blue for a vehicle. Interesting, there's actually quite a few vehicles in the set, and they're all pretty good actually, or most of them are pretty good. So yeah, 2 in a blue for a 0/0. When it enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and it has Exhaust, Waterbend 3. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. And Exhaust, for those who haven't played it, is just you can only do this once basically. So you've got the 3 mana 2/2 bounce a non-land permanent or a creature. That slot is always good. Like that's a quality card no matter how you slice it. It's a little bit of a different card here, right? You're trading in the immediate body for being a little bit bigger later. But I think it's a fine trade-off.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Exhaust come back. Like, it plays out so well. It's a fantastic mechanic. Nothing more to add aside from that. We both gave it a B.
Yeah, totally. And I said later you get the body, but like sometimes you can just play this and block as a 3/3 as well. Next up is North Pole Patrol. 2 in a blue for a 2/3 ally. Tap to untap another target permanent you control. And a Waterbend 3, tap it. Tap target creature and opponent controls.
Kind of annoying that you have to, like, some of them are Waterbend mana and then just colon. This one you need to tap itself.
Yeah, true.
So if you're using it for mana or hijinks, then you can't actually use that tap ability on it.
Yeah, a little clunky. Like, it's okay. I mean, you're gonna get people in the early days of the format just not realizing that, like, oh, they have a 4/4 and they can untap that. Right? Like, blue doesn't always get these kind of cards. Yeah. What do we get this one?
And this is all, I mean, also most of the waterbending things get around summoning sickness because you can use them right away. And this one,
This one
can't
doesn't.
either. We both gave this a C minus.
Yeah, just kind of fine. Katara Bending Prodigy is 2 and a blue for a legendary ally. She's a 2/3. At the beginning of your end step, if Katara is tapped, put a +1/+1 counter on her. Waterbend 6 to draw a card. So a little bit of awkwardness here, because one of the nice things about waterbending is you can block and then do the thing at the end of your opponent's turn. You're giving up something by saying, hey, I'm going to tap Katara on my turn. But yeah, this is also a card that can get out of hand, right? If this goes untouched and the game goes a little bit long, you're just drawing a bunch of cards. So yeah, not a slam dunk by any means, but definitely has some play to it.
Yeah, I think that first ability is kind of fake, because I do think you're more interested in doing this end step than getting it grow. Still interested in it. I gave it a C. You gave her a C plus.
Yeah, worth noting. I've been talking about like using this to waterbend, but you could just attack with it and then get a counter on the end step too. Teo Spirited Glider is 3 and a blue for a 1/4 legendary ally. Has flying. Whenever one or more creatures you control with flying attack, draw a card and then discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it basically connives. Just all spelled out that way. 4 mana 1/4 is a bit of a tough ask. Gotta say, it does potentially provide other stats right away, but tough ask.
It does connive onto anything, right?
Yes,
it doesn't need to be the attacking creature. So, like, you can grow this to a 2/5 on blocks and, like, maybe do something. I wasn't quite as low as you on this one, but still not excited. I gave Teo a D+. You were at a D.
Yeah. Next up is Ember Island Production. 3 blue for a sorcery, and you can choose one. Either make a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it's not legendary and becomes a 4/4 hero in addition to its other types, or create a token that's a copy of target creature an opponent controls, except it's not legendary and it's a 2/2 coward in addition to its other types. Man, this is an expensive card for a clone. Clones are often a little bit awkward in spots. Like, they're the best thing on the board, but this loses some of that because, it becomes a 2/2. I will say there are some kind of unexpected things that happen. Sometimes they're kind of cool, where if you have like a small creature, turning it into a 4/4, like a 1/1 with a really good ability, sometimes making that a 4/4 can, be have unexpected results, basically, in ways you wouldn't expect. But at the same time, I think this card's just too finicky, too awkward, doesn't quite do enough.
Yeah, the main reason you like clones is because if they play something amazing, you can copy it, and this doesn't really do that.
Right.
So D- for me and a D from you.
Sokka's Haiku up next. This is 3 blue. Instant lesson. It's a haiku. Counter target spell. Draw a card, then mill 3 cards. Untap target land. Cute.
The untap isn't really doing much, but the counter draw card mill 3 as a lesson is all still pretty good. We both gave Sokka's Haiku a C.
Yeah, that's right. Next up is Serpent of the Pass. 5 blue for a 6/5. If there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard, you can cast this as though it had flash, and it costs 1 less for each non-creature, non-land in your graveyard. Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got a version of Tolarian Terror that's got some upside and some downside, but I'm pretty interested in this. I gave it a C. You are at a C+ for the Serpent.
Yeah, I think Tolarian Terror is a pretty good comp on that. Like, giving it flash, being able to maybe eat something in combat is kind of nice. Okay, so that's going to do it for blue, and here's our little recap of blue. Mark, take it away.
Blue is deep. If there's anything that's going to stop this format from being like an all-timer, it might be that blue is too good.
Right. Yeah, I think there's just so, like, there were very few cards that we were like, oh, that's a clunker. Oh, by the way, actually, something I didn't call out with white is there are a cycle of hybrid cards in this set, actually multiple cycles, and you'll see some of those cards in these recaps, even though we haven't gotten to some of them yet. So there's some cards that are like, wait, we didn't talk about that one. That's why. But yeah, back to blue. Totally agree. Like, there's a lot of depth, a lot of the different kinds of effects you just generally want from a blue deck in limited. Yeah, a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I'm also a little concerned because, especially if people draft a lot on Arena, like Arena does tend to eventually adjust to balance out things a little bit, but that's less true when the busted color is blue. Like if you think about in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy how late you were getting, the 2-1 flyer make a buddies 3-4 weeks into a set.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really hoping that it'll kind of adjust a little bit, and I'm also really excited to play with a lot of these cards. But blue's not really missing anything. Like it's got draw, it's got interaction, it's got good creatures, it's got a decent curve. It seems to me that it's got all the ingredients to be a pretty excellent deck.